Let's try this once again. So, hopefully this will work this time. Ich mach's trotzdem. Okay, Jamaine, I see you. Invite. Add.
You back in?
Yeah, and I can hear you.
You know what's weird? Now I'm on my Bluetooth again. You see how they're messing with us? It's interesting.
Crazy.
All right, let's try to get. So where were we?
Hold up.
Epic interview, by the way.
Yeah, man. For real. They keep. Nah, I'm trying not to. I'm gonna try to keep my cool. Anyway. Yeah, man. We were. I asked you, why haven't we heard the word more in history classes?
Yeah, and as I said, not even a class. Like all through school, we should have had a class on it because the historical period is so lengthy. But let alone to even mention the word, right? And then, as I said, the Moors ruled the world from 711 AD to 1492. The same year that this guy Columbus, he's on an expedition to discover some land that was already there before he was on an expedition.
Yeah.
And then you find out that the name Moore gets buried, and then all of these people, their name keeps getting changed.
But what is the connection? Like, I don't get it. What is the connection between how long the Moors ruled and the time when Columbus was going around looking for something? Like, what is the connection?
Okay, so if our empire fell at the beginning of 1492, so when it fell, everyone started to claim it. That's where the expeditions started to take place. That's the doctrine of discovery, where the church was ordaining people to take your land in the name of their God. That happened when we fell in 1492, and that's where all the wars and everything led up.
They kind of like took advantage of the situation, and then they saw that they could come in because we lost our power.
Right, because we also had infighting, right? So you see how our people still don't have unity today because they're connected to those ancestors that were part of the problem. Our hands are not clean in this. We're trying to look at it like a utopia story. We were just in paradise and they came here and everything went to hell. We played a role in this. We bought slaves, we sold slaves. We were on both sides of the coin of this story.
Okay, I think that's important that we talk about this because I didn't know that, for example, and a lot of people I think didn't know that. And I suggest for those people who disbelieve whatever we are talking about, because I'm not asking you to believe any word, just simply do your research, If you don't believe it, or even if you do believe it, still go ahead and do your own research, because we are just touching on some topics. But if you want to go more in depth, you're going to have to do that on your own.
Exactly. And, as I was looking at the story, like many of our family was, when we were told we were slaves 400 years. So then if you took their version of the story and you put it under a microscope, 1619, Jamestown, Virginia, they said the first colony, right, where this thing started. So 1619 to 2019 would be 400 years. But I'm in school in second grade. They already told me we were slaves for 400 years. Do you see how it doesn't add up? And then this book here, White Cargo, it goes into the timeline and it shows you that in the inception of the very first colony, where they said slavery started, they were white slaves that set this up. You see? So when we look at this, the real way we're supposed to look at it, then we got to say, well, how long were we actually enslaved? Because it wasn't until the 1890s where they started to mess with the census records, where the people that were already free started to be reclassified as ex-slaves.
Do you know what the deal was? Like when the white people came and they had them slaves, and then black people took slaves too. Do you know what the deal was?
Okay, the deal was, this was a business, and selling and leasing another man's labor, that was an economy at the time. See, it's not like the story how we're looking at the movies where they just was taking people and, you know, so much barbarity, and they were whipping people and raping women. These things happened, but it didn't happen in the context which we're looking at, and it happened to many other races of people at the same time on this land. Because if you were trying to get into the business of owning slaves, and you were a poor white person, excuse me, it's a legal status, but you're an Albion, as we call them, which would you call a European or a Caucasian. If you looked at it, let's say you came here from England, they kicked you out of the jails, you were facing murder, you were going to get hung, right? And they gave you the option, come to America, work off your indentured servitude contract for maybe 12 years. So in the end of this 12th year, you didn't get your 50 acres of land that you were promised. So they reneged on their own people. So now you're a poor so-called white stuck here in America with no opportunity. So how do you partake in an economy when you got no money to buy slaves? You start stealing them. You start kidnapping them. Then when you see, this is how we got into it. They started to kidnap the indigenous people.
Dang.
Yep.
Dang. And so they kidnapped them and then started to make their own business out of it, kind of.
There you go. And there were groups of people, less than 50, 60,000 of people that came from what you call Africa. And they came as indentured servants. They had contracts. They were paid. See, we're not looking at the historical timeline. So now you have to look up something called the Royal African Company. I'm challenging the family to do their research. The Royal African Company, it was a company that leased out indentured servants.
Hold on one second. I want to write this down.
Yeah.
So what did you say? The Royal African Company?
Yeah. See, these were all the colonies. They were companies. The Royal African Company. So they would lease labor to the colonies here. Hence the term Africans. So you didn't have to come from Africa to be called an African that was lending out your service. And then the language changed, and then all these black-skinned people were Africans. Because now you didn't have to pay a tribute to the land you stole them from.
Mm-hmm.
I took them from what part? 52 nations. What part of Africa? Just Africa. That's too general.
Yep. It's the same if they said Europe.
Mm-hmm. And I'll share something with you. My uncle is Islam to my Uncle Donald. He's married to an empress from Nigeria. And she's from the continent, or what you would call Africa, and she doesn't call herself an African. She says, I'm Nigerian. I'm from Nigeria. She says nobody refers to themselves as Africans. Only when they get here and they talk to the incompetent people that don't know. You see, they're going to refer to the nation there. So why can't we refer to that nation? Obama himself, they said, you know, the first black or African-American president, he said, correction, I'm Kenyan American. He picked one nation in Africa, Kenyan American. And we still didn't wake up.
Nat Turner's asking what it was. It was the Royal African Company.
Yes. And look up the East Indian Company. See, because all through this slave story, nobody talks about the so-called Indians. Remember they called you Indians? But the real so-called Indians over there in India, which was called Hindustan at the time of Columbus. So he wasn't coming here to see Indians because there was no such thing as people called Indians. You see, do you understand what's going on? He knew why he was coming here. So, you know, this whole term of the East Indian Company, the Virginia Tobacco Company, that was the service company set up in Virginia, the tobacco plantations. And they had slaves of all colors working on these fields.
I mean, why wouldn't they? You know, these people are greedy people. They don't care who they enslave as long as they get money. Yeah.
There you go. So now you find the people in an economic plantation type of scenario, all nationalities here in America, and what are they doing? Enslaving you by way of your labor.
Mm-hmm.
You work 40 hours,
Yep.
Uncle Sam want half of that.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is something that's always pissing me off too. Like you already have to work, and then they take money from it. But they take money from everything, from everything. I mean, everything that
Because they're
you have.
broke. They don't have a function, Empress. So,
Yeah, but I
so
mean
they're what you call a parasite. They're a parasite and we're the hosts. They can't live without our ignorance.
but they
And
do
that's why
this
they gotta mess up.
everywhere.
Yeah.
They do this even here in Germany, and Germany should have money because them people they make the guns here that are
Yeah.
being distributed throughout the whole world for war. They make the guns here in Germany, but they don't let the Germans have guns. You feel me? So
There you go.
they take taxes out of this and they make money from the production of this, and they make money because you know they funding war.
Yeah.
And then you got the tobacco taxes, you got taxes on every freaking thing. I mean, shouldn't they have enough? Like over here they take 16 or 19%.
Yeah. But if you're posing as a government entity that's bankrupt, that's been bankrupt since its inception, and you gotta still look like you get money out here, well, how do you survive? There you go. That's the only way they can eat. These imaginary taxes, because they don't generate any product. They serve no function to the people. And once the people take back their righteous mind by way of just doing their own research, when you understand what the republic is, self-governing, the people govern themselves. Everyone is a king and ruler in their own right.
Yeah, and
This
also,
is when I speak of Islam. When I speak of Islam, I'm not talking about, you know, the Arabized version of a religion. I'm speaking of Islamism, the way of life. When I say Islam, the acronym I, self, law, am, master. You know yourself, you govern yourself. See, when the people know that the law starts with them, no one can break the law when it pertains to your liberties.
and also if you take the word government, what does it say?
Mm-hmm.
Governmental.
To
So,
govern the mind, right? So if the people can't think, they need someone to think for them.
yeah, that's something that's getting on my nerves. Like people always say, "Hey, shalom," but people always say that we need a leader or we need a new black leader, and I'm always like, "Are you a sheep or something? You need a
Well,
shepherd. You should be your own leader." And especially if grown men say that, I find this very shameful as a man to say you need somebody to lead you. You should be able to lead yourself into the right direction. Now, what you can do is you can get together with like-minded people and
yeah.
do some stuff, but that you say you need somebody, you need a new Malcolm X or a new whoever, that's stupid.
Well, a famous poem comes to mind from, you know, one of the leaders of the Black Panthers, Huey P. Newton. He says, don't watch your, this is one of his shortest poems in the world. He says, don't watch your leaders, watch your parking meters.
Mm-hmm.
Don't watch your leaders, watch your parking meters. And the funniness of this poem is like, it's more important if you're worrying about your property than to worry about someone leading you, because
Yep.
they can't lead you if you don't know where you're going.
Well, they might be able to lead you, but they gonna lead you in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
So
to a dead end. Yeah, to a dead end. You know, they're
I
not going to
always
lead you to freedom.
no, I always say I swim against the grain.
Yeah,
Like, I don't have like really friends, like a lot of friends or friends around where I'm living at. I don't, because it's like I'm more to myself, because then you can focus on your life and your goals, you
yeah.
feel me?
Hmm.
People just always want to be with too many friends at one time, hanging out here, hanging out there, and always being distracted from what's important in life. Like, I don't go out. I barely go out. I don't drink, It's like, for what? I want to be to myself so I can know what I want in life.
There you go. So you're about cleaning your temple and raising your vibrations. So when we all start moving like that, then all of the things that are of great importance, they start to matter to us again. You see,
Yep.
like all of the distractions we care about because our spirits are broken. Our spirits are broken. We've been lied to for so long, and we're fighting each other about how much of the lie we believe. That's insanity.
But that's the thing why you have the media, that's why you have TV, that's why you got the radio, that's why you have the internet. And it's funny because the system thinks they putting all these instruments out there so they can use them against us, but in the end we can use them to our benefit if we do it right.
There you go. See, the biggest downfall of them was the internet. See, the internet allowed them to monitor what we're searching and all this, but what they didn't bank on was us getting access to information. Case in point, I could be reading a book here in New York, and I can send you that book all the way in Germany.
Yep.
In 5 seconds, and they can't stop that. See, the sharing of truth is what they can't stop. This is why we all have to start speaking about the truth. Because all this other stuff is trivial and it doesn't matter, and the ancestors, you're not honoring them. Anytime you speaking of these ancient black gods and these terms are current, you're spitting on the grave of the ancestors. Because these people know who the Moors were. That's why they never spoke about it in any of your history classes. But in all of their secret societies, they dress up wearing the royal headdress, the fez with the 360 string tassel. They wear this in these lodges in secret, wanting to be Moors.
Now you got me on something, because now you really got me on something. Now I have to think, because I thought that this head that you just mentioned with the thing on it and everything, I thought that, but there you can see if you don't have enough knowledge, you know what type of assumptions you make. But I thought that this was actually Masonic, and that the Moors today are actually imitating the Masonic Lodge.
Nope, it's in reverse. You see, they're all paying homage to our ancestors, everyone but us. Do you see why we're out of power? So you're saying these people right here. Let me show you something. You're saying these people. These people here.
Okay.
These out
okay,
here.
that's wrong. Yeah.
Right. But now let me prove that to you. Because if I said it happened in reverse, now I gotta prove that, right? So now let's prove it. This statue is thousands of years old. That brother is also wearing that same hat.
Oh yeah, the Olmec.
Yeah, they call them the Olmecs. They're Moors. This is in South America. You see that nose on that brother? That's not a Mexican. You see those lips?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go even older than that. I'll go to the same hat. You see, because the ancestors knew that they would play with our information. So they had to put it in stone. They put it in stone. Years old. This is America.
Hold on one second. Ich brauche aber ein Verlängerungskabel, bitte. Oh, that looks nice. I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's in South America. So now, who are these people wearing the same hats thousands of years before even, the Moors, as people are saying, because they think Moors is a club and a group, and no.
Yeah.
See, these people in the societies are honoring our ancestors, but we forgot all about them. We forgot all about them. So everything as we said before is happening in reverse.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. I hope I say your name. Lucero Mundo. I hope I say it right. You are right. Yeah. But I just do that very, very, just sometimes, I don't like to go out a lot. I don't like people in general too much around me, you know. I don't like their energy, so I just think to myself. But yeah, you were showing the picture with the Moors and the statues.
Hmm. So who are these people? Like for instance, you keep saying that nobody spoke about Moors in history. So who are these people? There's another Moor, the bust of a
Yeah.
Moor. That's in America. He looks like an Indian, but they're calling him a Moor. You see, so they know all of these statues are in museums at crazy prices. Our family's art is being sold right from under us, and we don't even recognize these people.
Yeah. Here in Germany, we have pharmacies that are called, I'm gonna say it in German, die Mohrenapotheke, and that means the Moors pharmacy, and they have a black hat
Wow.
with the curly hair, and also for the people who don't know, we have something like something sweet. It got it's covered with chocolate, and inside it. My bad.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it just froze
Yeah,
the
it
video.
just froze the video.
Yeah, but inside it has something white. It looks almost like foam, but it's covered with chocolate. And they used to call it Negro Kiss, and then they called it Moorhead.
So let me get this correct. You said that there's a chocolate they sell in your country in Germany that was called Negro, and now
Shoot, that's a lot of noise.
interesting. Yeah, audio on that one. Wow, I'm just hearing crazy feedback.
Maybe you can turn
yours
down for 1 second.
Yeah,
Because I'm turning mine down.
it just threw me off my headset again. Interesting. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but it's noise.
Noise.
And I hear
And I hear
myself
myself
echoing.
echoing.
Wow, this is ridiculous.
I have to really turn it down because this noise
This noise
is.
is.
Yeah, it kicked me off of my Bluetooth, but yet I can't hear you. When I turn it up, I just get a bunch of static.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe
Maybe
can
can
you
you
try
try
to
to
get
get
back
back
on
on
the
the
headphone
headphone or
I turned them off. Can you hear me?
I
I
can
can
hear
hear
you,
you,
but
but
it's
it's
too
too
noisy.
noisy.
I'm gonna
I'm
have
gonna
to.
have to. I'm a yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can do a.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Yes, that's what I think too. They don't want us to expose this. We've been trying to get this live together. Like we try. They keep messing with his audio the whole time. Let me try this again. This is ridiculous. I can't even add him no more. I can't add you, so maybe you're gonna have to send a request. And then I can get you back in. This is really crazy, y'all. I was so happy because this time I could hear him very clear for the first time. And now they messing with it again. They really must hate what we are doing right now. But it just motivates me even more. Kannst du ihm kurz schreiben, bitte?
Yeah, I gotta get to you.
They got me on a delay too. These are some suckers, yo. Oh, they kicking me off? They kicking me out? My whole camera is black now.
Yeah.
Yeah, my camera is black, but I'm still live. I don't know if it's gonna go back or what's... Yeah, that's what it seems like. They are scared. But there you can see just... I don't know if it's gonna work, man. Your guest cancel connection to join this video.
Want me to invite him some?
Squats. They keep trying this. They keep trying it. My other interviews that I had, everything was perfect, kind of. But now that we're talking about some stuff that goes against the system,
What you want me to tell him?
yeah, try to come back. Yeah, can you hear me though? Like, can you hear me, or you don't even hear me anymore? I'm not gonna check out ISUPK with all due respect. I'm not. The Most High is inside of me, so what does that make me?
Goddess.
Easy question. I don't need to believe in nothing or join no group. I'm my own leader. I hope we...
What's it called? Reconnect?
I'm trying to connect, but... Okay, I can see you, but nobody can see me in this. Okay, I can see you, but nobody can see me in this. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is the blackout edition. They cut us off. Yeah, I heard you talking about
Yeah, cause somebody here
the Most High,
like
huh?
the last time I saw a video, you got. Yeah, cause somebody here always like the last. I mean, people got video, you got to join the IUSK. I mean, but people got their opinions, and I respect that.
Yeah.
But I don't need to join nobody but myself.
Yeah, but if they ain't read John verse 420, then you know they're talking dogma and they're not talking religion.
We are gods, and you go into that like this human. So what does that say to you?
Yeah, you know that's many of the people that saying they spiritual, they're just confused by dogmatic rhetoric. They're not spiritual because the spirit means the breath, the holy breath. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. See, the Word ain't what you put God in. God ain't what you put the Word in. We're not saying that.
I have a question, people. Can y'all hear us, or is it distorted? Because I hear myself echoing.
Yeah, I can hear you good. I don't know if
I might have to give up the live. CIA, thank you, exactly. Here's some suckers. I would love to say CIA, thank you, exactly. Here's some suckers. I would love to say something to them, but I'm on live, so I can't. But they're really some suckers.
But let's see if we can get.
They're really some suckers. Okay, I have to get off the live. Okay, I have to get off the live.
All right.
And then I have to invite you back. Sorry, people.